Hello, everyone. We are going to dive into the 360 report and show you what you actually get. These are actually my personal results. So we're going to dive into actual results, starting with diet nutrition, first of the 6 systems. You see what pops up here is these micro reports within the system, starting with the system summary, which is an encapsulation of all the micro reports. But in diet nutrition, you see behavioral genetics. How do you even perceive food, hunger, satiety, carb metabolization, fat metabolization? Should you be on a keto diet or not? Is it the right thing for you? Microbiome health, and of course, micronutrients and how you deal with all of those. We're then going to look at sleep and how sleep is affected by your various genetic components, starting with circadian rhythms and that internal clock and how it's set and how you deal with time. Stress response, the head spinning, thinking about things and not being able to sleep. Environmental response, the chemicals preventing you from recovering. Food response, and of course, pleasure, scrolling on TikTok and Instagram till late at night, not being able to shut it off, and why some people have an issue there. Hormones, fitness, and body type. So we look at how the body is actually driven and developed by the hormones you produce. So fitness, what type of workout should you be doing? Rest and recovery. Why do some of us go to the gym every day and some can not handle more than a couple times a week? And more importantly, what do you do about it if you want to change? Then there's, of course, hair health and skin health and how your hormones drive those things. We then look at mood and behavior, which is probably the largest report of the 6. And in here, we look at addiction, ADHD, anxiety, burnout, empathetic behavior versus logical behavior, irritability and frustration, procrastination, which, yes, is genetically driven, thinking patterns and neurotic tendencies, those people that sort of have the drama queen response, call it, give too much meaning to things. All the neurochemicals of your brain are driven by DNA, which then determines what your behavior and your personality is actually like. Inflammation or cellular health, the innate health of the cell, which drives inflammation and disease, driven by oxidation, glutationication, methylation, and vitamin D. These are the big things that maintain and support the health of the cell. And if any of them are not being handled properly, you, of course, are more susceptible to inflammation, which then leads to disease. But we can tell you what to do about it. Cardiovascular health, it's the biggest sort of chronic condition, and so we've included it. We look at hypercholesterolemia, hypertension, inflammation, and statins, which is a drug that's it's the number one drug that's used for cardiovascular conditions. If I drill into one of the actual reports, we can show you what they look like. So this is what they all look like. You're going to see the actual genetic underpinnings that deal or cause the problem. Then you're going to see some recommendations, but you're also going to see it in language you can understand. So, you know, pointing out where your red flags are, where the risks are, what genes are involved, so you understand the science behind what we're saying. And there's often multiple gene pathways that are combined. Then we look at recommendations, which is important because we have not only diet recommendations, but also lifestyle. What should you be doing? What habits do you need to form? What habits do you need to remove? And most importantly, what supplement should you take for that particular condition if it is a red flag for you? So we tried to be comprehensive about how you can take each one of these micro reports and literally build a plan around it. If we go into the gene cast, we've now taken another layer and said, okay, we've given you reports. We're also going to give you an audio file, which acts as like a personal consult, as if you're sitting with a scientist who is examining and analyzing all this for you and telling you what it means. And if you can click on any one of these genes and understand at the scientific level what's happening. So let's click this as an example.
9p21. The 9p21 is not necessarily a gene per se, but is rather a chromosomal locus, in other words, a location on your chromosome, that has one of the strongest genetic associations to cardiovascular disease.
And I'll skip ahead where it's now talking about the personalized result.
To resist a certain level of toxins in the bloodstream, but it's possible that they can become overwhelmed depending on your lifestyle and dietary habits. You will want to keep a close eye on the rest of your cardiovascular profile, as the overall profile can mask an average or optimal result in any particular section.
So that's personalized to the individual. You're getting your own personal podcast, which is telling you about each area and each gene. And lastly, there's a video that tells you the story so that you can put this all into context and understand it better.
If we think of one word that points to how we think of cardiovascular health differently, it's inflammation. That one thing that is a root cause of cardiovascular issues is prompted by genetic suboptimalities. Your genetic disadvantages that prevent you from being able to cope with inflammation in the areas that would lead to cardiovascular disease.
So you can see in between the reports, the personalized podcast, and the video, we've come at it from all angles to help you get better and add 10 years to your life.